What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and I am now finally ready to do my update collection video. I know a lot of guys have been asking about that, been waiting for some knives to come in from other reviewers, so let's get started. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So, let's do this. Okay, so in my collection, I have a spot for knives. I have a Apache Pelican style case that most of my knives reside in, the ones that I carry most of the time. However, it's mostly the more expensive knives. So there are knives that are cheaper that I do carry that also are in a roll-up pouch, a Blade HQ little pouch that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 12 different knives. It can hold it. And then I have my fixed blades. So I am going to try to get through this as fast as I can. But there's a lot of knives to go through. And I might not even remember what some of them are named specifically. Because I've had them for a long time. And some of those might be the more sentimental knives and whatnot. So let's get started first with fixed blades. So this knife hasn't been on the channel since I first started the channel. But this is the Gerber LMF2. It is my dedicated outdoor folder. It is one of the Gerbers that is made in the United States. And it's a good one. You can tell it has serrations on the, and I wouldn't buy that now. I've had this for so long. But they do work for cutting cordage very, very well. The serrations do. Nice thick blade that I have done batoning with. It's a very well-built knife with a rubberized handle that does give you some really good grip. So I am going to be getting some more fixed blades, some more, better quality fixed blades that I've been able to handle. BGM knives, SRK knives, SPK knives, and those are really blowing me out of the water as far as an EDC, which we'll go over what I have for EDC as well. So fixed blades, to me, I'm not as into, but I'm fixing to maybe start getting more into. My son loves fixed blades, okay? He loves them. So speaking of EDC fixed blades, the SC Azula 2 is what I have for an EDC fixed blade. I used to carry this thing all the time in its little sheath and a Blade Tech Lock. I haven't carried it for a little while because I carry so many knives and so much gear on me because of the channel that I just have stopped doing that. But every now and again, I will put it on my belt, and it works really well. It's a very nice size. SE makes very good, high-quality products. My brother just bought the SE4, and he loves it. Wow! This is Camtulus titanium bonded something. Cheapo something or other that was given to me by my family one Christmas or whatever. Something you buy at Walmart. But to be honest with you, it's pretty nice. I'm not exactly sure what the damn steel is, but it has a pretty good edge on it, and I use it to chop some stuff down at the land. It does have a pretty decent saw on it, to be honest with you. It's not the most comfortable to use, but it's pretty nice. So it's something cheap that I do use when we go to the land because it is a very nice chopper. It's long enough for me to do what I need to do. Comes in a very crappy nylon sheath and like a throwing knife. I don't know what that is. It's got some hex. Anyway, I've never even used that. So fixed blade that I carry with me in my EDC/get home bag is the Mora Companion. These knives are absolutely wonderful, especially for the price. I think I paid 15 bucks for this. It is a high carbon steel, as you can see. I have not taken very good care of it because it's pitted and all that stuff, but I use this quite a bit. It rides in that, it's got a Scandi grind that I need to put an edge back on, but I use this a lot. It's something just to have in the bag that is super duper lightweight and have a fixed blade on me in that bag, so if I ever need it, I can use it, which I do. The only other fixed blade really that I have right now is this guy. This is a hand-forged knife by a kid at the time. He was like 16, 17 years, I think he was 17 years old. Hand-forged knife that was made by him. I went to his house and told him, I saw what he was doing, and I was like, dude, if you make a knife, because he was just doing it for a hobby, he wasn't doing it to sell anything, but I mean, you make a knife, you think it's good quality, I'll be the first one to purchase it from you, because I was really excited about this young guy getting into that, hand forging a knife. Look at this thing. did an excellent job, and I love it. And then I have a local guy that is here, Michael, that made this wonderful sheath for it. And of course, look at that. It just fits me great. So this is my favorite fixed blade as of right now because of the story behind it. A local guy, veteran, who made the sheath for me, and this kid who made the knife. I just love this thing. Yes, you cannot buy it because it's one of a kind. Bye-bye. So anyways, love that thing. We're going to go over some of the other, I guess, more budget options and stuff that I have in this other. I have an Ontario Rat number 1 that is in pieces right now because I took it apart, I think, in the live stream one day that we have on the edge to see about the washers, because it has 2 washers on each side, and I haven't put it back together yet. So that's the Ontario Rat number 1. Also have the Ontario Rat number 2. The Ontario Rat, guys, such a great option for budget knives. This one's in D2. This is called the R2D2, and but you can, you get them around 30, 40 bucks. So very nice knives for on a budget. I use these a lot for size comparisons and whatnot. I hardly ever carry this one. The Rat 1 I did because it's obviously the bigger one. Let's see. This was a gift by Big Bore Knife and Gear. I've never tried an Emerson before, and this is the Kershaw. I don't remember exactly which one this one is, but it's the budget Kershaw with the Emerson Wave and the disc. He wanted me to try this out. This is a gift, so obviously I'm not going to get rid of this guy. I wasn't a huge fan of the Emerson Wave feature or the thumb disc, but that's the reason he sent it to me, is to see if I would like it, right? Which, as a knife, it's very well built. It's steel G10. I can't remember what the steel is on this guy. It's a budget knife, so I'm not exactly sure, though. I don't think it says. But, all in all, it's an okay knife. But this was my first Emerson experience, and I found out it's not my favorite. Let's see. The CRKT Provoke. The CRKT Ceo. Very slim little knife. I bought this back at the beginning of the channel because I thought it was pretty cool. It is definitely it's a knife that has a pocket clip that I usually put like right here. It looks like a pin in my in a polo shirt. I thought it was really cool. It's very sleek, very slim. It's plastic. It's supposed to look like G10, but it doesn't. It's not the best well-built knife in the world, but a lot of people like these. They've made quite a few different versions since then. This one was a gift from Bad Monkey EDC1. Shout out, brother. This one is a Tucson, and I cannot remember the name. Tucson's use numbers, guys, and I'm horrible. You guys with acronyms, numbers, I can't remember that stuff. But this one is super freaking cool. Look at this. It's definitely my size. Tucson does an excellent job. Look at that action for this guy. It's got purple. And I think he dyed this. I can't remember. But I kind of like this deep purple. Anyway, it's a very slim, very sleek knife. This one is in D2, night morning design, and yeah, very snappy guy. Just a flipper, internal or a liner lock, but very well made. Tucson is definitely a brand that if you're looking for knives on a budget, they make really good products. Okay, they are overseas manufacturer, so you got to remember that. This one is the Smith & Wesson something. Not a very good knife, but this one was a gift a few Christmases back, well, years ago, actually. It does have thumb studs, so I can get it out with the thumb studs. This one was one of the first knives that I tried to use my KME on, and the Lansky system. Use this as knife, so I'm able to get a really good sharp edge on this very cheap steel, which is usually the case. But yeah, it's not a great knife. It's a very heavy knife with a crap steel, but I kind of like the design. I think it looks cool, but I won't get rid of it because it is a gift. So I usually will let somebody who doesn't use knives very often, if I have them at the house and we got to go out somewhere, I'll usually give them something like this. This is the Artisan Cutlery Osprey. This was a gift from my buddy, it's Gary Core EDC. Crap, he's changed his name. Gary Core EDC, which used to be his YouTube channel name. Now I can't remember what the damn new one is. He's going to kill me. But anyway, this was a gift from him. He knows I like the big cleaver style blades, and this is definitely one. It has the weakest detent that I've ever felt on a knife, but I have plans for this. I just haven't done it. Really cool brass scales, and I believe this is also D2. Yeah, it is also in D2 steel. I have a knife that my grandfather gave me. Guys, I promise you the other knives are coming. I'm trying to get through these as fast as possible. I have a knife that my grandfather gave me. This is a Frost Cutlery bear claw with a really cool wood on this back lock. I also used the sharpening systems, used this knife to test that out. You know, nice knife. I'm just not a fan usually of back locks, but it's from my grandfather, right? So I'm going to keep it forever. The Cold Steel Voyager XL. This is one of the knives also that I've had on the channel for quite a while, or had in my possession for quite a while. I like the big blades. This thing is super sharp, and it is a wicked looking Tonto. But then I also got this one from Lefty EDC as our Friendsgiving gift. I can't remember what this blade shape is called, what it's called, because you get the Tonto, and I can't remember what this one's called. But now I have two of these, and I love wield them at the same time. When the zombies come, I will be prepared. Anyways, very nice knives. They're actually pretty lightweight because they have this very cheap plastic, nylon, whatever the hell it is, scales, but it does have a back lock. They're pretty strong, and the cold steels come super duper sharp. Super duper sharp. Let's see here. I have a Victorinox Camper. I think this is the Camper. I usually keep this at the house. I usually keep the nail clip with me at all times. This is something that I always keep with me because it has nail clippers and the tweezers and the toothpick and stuff. So I use this quite a bit. So I have a couple of Victorinox knives. I also have the best knife ever, which is called the Delica. And if you know, you know, which a lot of people are using that nowadays. But this is an elite group of people that are now part of the Delica Club, and I am one of them. So, best knife ever made. But it's a great joke. All right. So, now we've got rid of those. We're going to look into this case. There's the case that I usually keep all my stuff in. The Apache Case works really well. They have a couple of different sizes, and they're really not expensive. So if you're looking for a case, it has the peel pluck foam. It's not the best quality in the world, but for me, it works excellent because I just keep my knives in there if I have to travel. It keeps them protected. So, all right, let's get going. So, I'm just going to go from the top left to right. These are not in any particular order, really. It's just where they land. So I have the PM2 Maximum in these really cool brass scales that I am going to be doing a video on, changing the hardware and doing an acid etch on the blade. I just haven't got to that yet. But guys, the PM2 is still one of my all-time favorite blades. I love these things. So yeah, and I just thought, if I'm going to have one, why not have some badass skull scales, right? But I also have the PM2 Ultra, which is from Blades We Love, where they take the compression lock, put a button on it, and it is now a button lock. So I've done a video on all of these, I believe. Well, no, some of them haven't had. Some of them are pretty new. But this one I've done a video on. The PM2 Ultra, you have a choice of all kinds of different scale options. This one happens to be in the green micarta with the bronzed hardware. You can only get S30V in these because they use a lefty PM2, but absolutely love this button lock that they do. It's a wonderful thing. Blades We Love. Go check them out. They are awesome people. Here is my Manix 2 XL wearing some pretty cool Punisher scales that I bought a while back. This is also a user for me. I use this for harder use tasks, and I've put quite a few edges on this guy. I like the Manix profile. I used to have a Manix 2, a regular one. I ended up, I think, giving that away in one of our On the Edge. Yeah, that's what I did. Which I like the Manix 2. I'm just not, the ball bearing lock and the axis lock for me, it's not really taking my fans anymore. I used to love those things. But this knife, a bruiser. I mean, hard work, definitely wearing gloves. It's got jimping all over the place to lock you in. So I use this for a lot of hard use. And the Punisher symbol glows in the dark. Because why not, right? So, never used that feature, but it's cool. So that is the Manix 2. And then, of course, we have the Spyderco Shaman. I love the Shaman. Shaman is one of my most comfortable, most used knives in my collection. I usually have these scales that I got from a viewer who hit me up and said that he would make these. These make it kind of like the Strider ergonomics, which I love, and you'll see in a minute. and that these are micarta. So I usually have these on, but I have got to use a couple of videos for this knife in its former, or in this state. But the Spyderco Shaman is still one of my all-time favorite, most comfortable user knives. If you haven't had a Shaman, man, you got to check them out. You can also do the front flip on these guys. It's so much fun with the compression lock. Love it. Contour G10. This knife, Spyderco Tuff, a shimp design. This is the one that I bought off of Jake over at Bearded Gear. This knife he had on his channel. I thought it was awesome. He sent it to me for review. I really wanted it. He sold it to me. They don't make these anymore, but this thing is in 3V steel. This was my first experience with 3V steel, and just look at you've got so many grips on this guy. It's not even funny. I love this knife. Very tough steel, and been a very different looking design that I fell in love with. So I love this knife, and this is also never leaving the collection because I love it so much. And I bought it from Jake, my buddy, my bro. And this was back, we were friends at the time, but me and Jake over at Bearded Gear are a lot closer now. Hey, speaking of Jake from Bearded Gear, I'm wearing this shirt. I love the dude, him and Lefty EDC. If you watch my channel, you know we're the three amigos. We love each other. This one is the Spyderco Reliance, the big boy. You've got the Spyderco Tenacious, which I have in here somewhere. And then you have this one. This is the more budget option China knife from Spyderco. That is also just a user, something that if I need a really long blade with, that I don't mind messing up or cutting. Also put my edge on this, so really sharp. I actually do like it as far as a first knife, the Tenacious and the Reliance. And there's another one too. I think they're great for first knives. There's so much competition. These used to be really recommended for somebody's first knife, especially if they want to try the hole. Now there's a lot of options out there, guys, but I still think these are still very much worth it. There it is. So here's my Tenacious, the knife that started it all, Spyderco Tenacious. This one has had me, I've had sharpened this thing, I don't know how many times. I also put some brass scales on it because why not? I knew this knife wasn't going anywhere. And Flytanium just makes scales for everything, Spyderco. So, yep, Spyderco Tenacious. Gotta love it. 8CR13 MOV. Yeah, but I love it. Then we have the Spyderco PM3. This one stays on the channel mainly for size comparisons. I did carry this quite a bit. It's still a very fun knife with the compression lock because I just love the compression lock and the Spidey hole. I just don't carry it as much. This is more of a backup style size knife for me, but very fun, very cool. This one is wearing the Skinny Mod scales that Scott Big Bore Knife and Gear sent me because he was doing some and he's just an awesome dude. So yep, the pair of 3. My all-time favorite backup knife as of right now, a smaller profile, is the EDC Supply F5.5. This one was a gift from my brother, Kevin Lefty EDC. This one is wearing the natural micarta or brown micarta, but it has got some anno work done from BJ Hill at Hilltop Knife and Gear. And then Kevin, the reason he got me this is because I love this knife. I bought it because Kevin and Jake both bought it. But the finger troll was just too small for my big sausagey fingers. And so he had BJ extend that out to now. This thing is an ergonomic dream in my hand. It's got LMAX steel. The action on this thing, Riot made, the detent. It's the absolute, my favorite backup knife or secondary knife. That's what I use this for. And unless I'm doing some kind of review on another knife this size, this is usually riding in my back left pocket. Or this is kind of long for a 5th pocket knife, but there are some pants that will fit. I have the QSP Penguin in the denim micarta. Lefty EDC sent me one and I did a review on it. And then he said, hey, if you know somebody who just needs a knife, let that be the knife you give. And I had somebody in mind that I was already planning on giving a knife to because Lefty's such a great dude. But I like that knife so much, and it won one of my best budget knives of 2020. I had to get another one because you couldn't hardly find this blue denim micarta. And then when I found one, I can't remember where I bought it, but anyway, I had to jump on it and get one in the collection. So very nice knife for the price. It's like 30 bucks, D2 in that denim micarta. Just love it. Also, deep carry loop over pocket clip. People love that, right? All right, let's go here. This is one of my only traditional style knives that I actually carry, except for one more. This is the Savi Rustic Gent. I haven't carried it in a while. I mean, let's be honest, I have a lot of knives. This one is the only knife that I have with a lanyard, and that is due because it comes with this really nice leather pocket slip that has a pocket clip on it. So whenever it's in my pocket, the lanyard helps me to get it out, and I can actually open this knife with one hand. So that's a big deal for me. You know, having a traditional, this is a back lock. You get G10 and carbon fiber. Where's that micarta? I can't remember now. But anyway, D2 blade. Love the clip point style blade. Comes super, super sharp. And with that fuller, using it as a nail nick, or like I do, I just kind of pinch it out and use that fuller to roll it out. Very, very nice. As far as this style of knife, this is one of my favorites. I'll put this back in here. Here is the Red Horse Hellraiser. This one is in the collection right now, but I'm fixing to send it off to a viewer who really wanted this, and so I'm sending it to him. This is a wonderful knife from Red Horses, the P series, so production. One of the best thumb stud action knives that I have felt. Look at that. It's just awesome. It's kind of polarizing to some, razor style blade, but it is super fun, super comfortable. Definitely check these out if you're looking for something different. Oh my gosh, this is great. They're about 215 bucks or something. All right, next, the only Benchmade I have in my collection of 60 some odd knives, including all this other stuff, is the Benchmade Super Freak. This knife is the best Benchmade knife that I've handled, okay? And I've handled a lot, and I've had a few, and this is the only one that stays in the collection. The Benchmade Super Freak has M4 steel and this layered G10 with red backspacers and G10 liners. It's just an awesome knife. As far as the axis lock goes, I've just kind of gotten away from the axis lock, but the axis lock on this one works really well. Way better than any other Benchmade that I have had in the hand. Very comfortable, tough steel, the M4. So this is my only Benchmade at the moment, but it is a damn good one. If you're looking for a Benchmade, I would suggest that guy. Here we go with the PMP Revenge. This is a knife I bought off my buddy Stud Fishing. This was his knife. This was a limited run, and I can't remember how many that was. It's got an acid wash on the blade, but I can still see it sometimes. This is 110 of 250 or 350, something like that. But awesome knife, definitely my size. Has the middle finger flick hole, and it also has a very minimalist flipper tab, which I like, and both of them work really, really well. Titanium frame lock with this awesome ano, and the blade work that was done by BJ Hill as well, because he's just awesome. So yeah, I love this knife. My size, look at that guy. Horny Cliff blade. Just wish you could buy him again, but you can't. So love that guy. And going with that ano theme, my Kaiser Sheepdog that was anoed by Scott, big bore knife and gear. I'm telling you guys, the lighting in here with this particular kind of ano just does not do it justice. You have to get this in person and see in the sunlight. But look at that. He did the heat ano on the pocket clip. Love this knife, and because it was done by Big Bore Knife and Gear, this is also a forever knife. I love it. I might get BJ to put me a hole in this one. I've been saying that forever, but I haven't done it. But I would really want a hole deployment for this Sheepdog because, yeah, it's just awesome. This one is titanium S35VN. And then, of course, we have the big boy, the Kaiser Sheepdog XL. Oy, I just love the Sheepdog. I love the ergonomics. I love the cleaver style blade. This one is 154 cm. And of course, with this big long blade, it just kind of falls. It does have really good action. It does have a really big old flipper tab, but it works well. I love this knife every time I carry it. And be like, hey, you cutting some meat because it looks like a big cleaver. I love it. I love this thing. And then going in with the last of the sheepdogs is the Kaiser Sheepdog Mini. This one was won on the Edge by Chris. Chris. Titanium Addiction 1970. He won this on the Edge. This is a knife I've had for a while. I have used it. I have sharpened it. But he won this. So this is a very nice, one of my favorite fifth pocket knives at the time because it is small enough to go in that fifth pocket. The only problem I have with this one is when you're getting the lock bar out of the way, it comes down on your hand and it doesn't get past the detent. So I always have to manipulate it. But action is still good. These are very fun little knives. So that's all the sheepdogs. Medford, this is the Marauder H. Marauder H is the full-size Marauder, but has the scale thickness and blade thickness of the Mini Marauder, which is about 190 thousandths. The full thickness, I think, is about 250, 260. So this is an excellent, excellent knife, but this one is also being getting out of here, going to Tom, he's buying a bunch of knives off YouTubers, getting some swag, and making a collection out of it. So this one I sold/traded. He's sending me something that I'm really, really excited about. Stay tuned for that. But this is just a beast of a knife. Medford makes excellent products, all American made, hollow grind. Look at this. Oh, yeah. So it's 3V steel, bronze titanium. I really like this knife, but it was one that I really am regretting selling this already. But I'm going to get another Medford. But the Marauder H is a very good size. I liked this one more than I did the 187 DP, which I used to have but have recently sold. Oh, let's see here. We have my favorite button lock knife, the Spartan Payless. This one is in S35 VN button lock. This thing is so amazing. The flipper is very lazy, but the thumb studs, they work so very well. The fact that I can do the middle finger flick makes this a very fidgety knife for me. And so I love Spartan blades. They make great products. They're great people over there, and they're all American made. There's your arrow clip there. That is their thing. I love it. Very, very ergonomic, very comfortable, thick behind the edge, but it's a worker, and I love it. Very well made. This is the Quiet Carry Waypoint. You've probably seen these all over the internet. These things took the internet by storm. Excuse me. This knife is an amazing knife, and one of the reasons it's amazing is because it has Vanex Super Clean steel. There's Quiet Carry, and there is the Vanex. Vanex Super Clean has become a very popular steel that a lot of makers are trying to get their hands on and make more of because people love it. Why? Because it is nearly rust proof and it has better edge retention than the other steels in that category, H1 LC200N. This is a very, very simple design. It's a little bit small, but it's right there on the cusp for me. But this knife I use because it's basically rust proof. It has LC200N liners and marine grade hardware. So this knife is not going to rust. So that's what I use it for, is for like that. If I'm going somewhere really moist, wet, to the ocean, I'm going to the beach, I'm taking this. Alrighty. This is one of the newer ones in the collection, the Leon Mall Field Duty. This is the one that, of course, it has M390 titanium bolster lock and the shredded carbon fiber. I have not done the full review on this. It is coming up soon, but this is quickly becoming one of my favorite knives, mainly because of the size, the opening hole, but the detent on this is absolutely spot on. I love the detent in the wonderful Riot action. The Leon Mall Field Duty. Stay tuned for the review because I'm really digging on this knife. How about failed? How about the Cold Steel 8015? This is a very interesting knife. A lot of people love it, and some people hate it. Kevin, he did not like the the Scorpion lock. This is definitely a different knife. I can do the front flip, or I'm sorry, not the front flip, but the reverse flick on this. It's really dirty because I used it the other day. Very well done. S35 VN blade. Just a super sharp, very aggressive G10, though. People really give that a hard time. And then, of course, your typical pocket clip that shreds your pocket because of that G10. But Guys, it is a very well-made knife by Andrew Demko, the designer, made by Cold Steel. And so it's really, really cool. I love Andrew Demko, and so I have a few of his Cold Steel and one of his customs. And they just are really good, hard-use knives that you just can't beat for something that you want to use hard. And speaking of that, because I was outdoors today, the Cold Steel 8010 S35VN, some of the most comfortable G10 contoured handles that I have. This is the most comfortable hard use knife that I have right now, and so this is usually what I grab when I want to go outdoors and do something. Very, very sharp, just like all Cold Steels. This is the 8010 that is designed again by Andrew Demko. He does have customs in this, but I'm telling you, this is a very, very good knife. If you ain't got the money for his custom, I don't think you need it, because I mean, other than some steel choices that he offers in it, this is a very good representation of that, and I love it. It has the triad lock, so very, very sturdy for outdoor use. Another Spartan blade. I love Spartan blades, and I tell you, Curtis and the guys over there at Spartan Blades are just awesome. This is the Spartan Harsey Folder. This one, of course, is a special edition M4, because it has the M4 engraved on it. Bronze color. Boy, this can kind of wipe it off. Bronze, titanium, black hardware. Just a beautiful, beautiful blade. This one is an S35VN. I had the one in S45BN, but I did end up selling it because it was just so pretty and actually a little bit rarer that I never carried it. This one I actually do carry on washer, so not a fall shut, but it has wonderful action with the thumb studs. I can do that. I can actually do the front flip with this, and I can do the reverse flick with the thumb studs. So it actually has fidget factor there, guys, but a very hard use folder as well that I absolutely love. All American made. Go check out Spartan Blades. One of my grill knives that I have had for a while and is still in the collection, the Konig Arius. This is absolutely one of the best knives ever made, and a lot of people will tell you that if you're right-handed. If you're lefty, maybe not, because lefty had a hard time with this. This is a titanium frame lock in M390. This one is the flipper delete version. They do make them obviously in a flipper, so they did some sprint runs with a flipper delete, and the reason I went with that was because you guys know I like a forward finger troll, and so I can choke up on this bad boy. This is one of the most ergonomic knives to date. I love this design. Konigs are 100% made in the USA, and they also are a good American company. These things are so popular. If you haven't heard about this, you will if you're probably new to the knife game. But the Konig Arius is one of the best made knives to date. I love the micro milling on this one. Pocket clip works amazing. Got a little pop of color there with the backspacer. Just an amazing, amazing knife that has the hole deployment for me, which is my preferred method. Love the Konig Arius. I have reviews on this, so definitely go check that out. Another budget option here, kind of going a little wonky. This is the Savi Praxis. A very large knife, but a very capable knife. This knife is, crap, this is not D2. What are you? I can't remember. Does it not say? I know it does somewhere. It's just very tiny. 9CR18 MOV. I knew it was not D2. Very capable knife. I've also sharpened this one quite a bit. Sorry, the camera kind of put out there. I'm not sure what's going on there. But yeah, very nice, very capable knife from Savi. I love this knife as far as a hard use. Another hard use folder that I like to use. It's got green and gold, so not exactly the best colorway, but is a very nice flipper. It has very good action running on bearings and a deep carry pocket clip, which a lot of people enjoy. Next is the one of my other favorite budget knives of all time, the CJRB Felspar. You guys have seen this knife a lot. Wonderful black G10 scales, deep carry pocket clip, a very good thumb stud action running on bearings. And yeah, just for 35 bucks, you can't go wrong with something like this, the CJRB Felspar. Yeah. All right, another great American company that I also love that has very good, well-built, overbuilt knives, the Hinderer XM18 3.5 inch. This one is wearing some OD green scales and bronzed out hardware. This one is in 20 CV, and if you have not familiar with Hinderer, some people love them, some people hate them. I absolutely love them. It's the flipper on this thing is like a Kevin calls it a witch's nose. So it is definitely a thing where it flips down and it rubs against this. People don't like that, but I don't really find it being a problem. This is a very hard to use knife. This was designed to be worn with glove by first responders, firefighters, and all that, but it does have blade stops that double as thumb studs, so you can do that. And then on this one, I couldn't do it there for a while, but now I'm actually able to do the reverse flick on these because it's nice and broken in, so I can fiddle with this thing. It's got very good action, running on the tri-way pivot system, so you can choose bearings, phosphor bronze, or nylon washers, which is just an excellent, innovative thing that Rick Hinderer has done for his knives. But I love this knife, very hard use and beautiful. All-American made knife. How about this one? This one is the Chavez 229. This one is a Riot produced knife because Chavez has his customs, and then he had some made production-wise by Riot, which is one of the best manufacturers of all time, just saying, especially over in China. Look at this wonderful hand satin. It's a little dirty right now. Hand satin Tonto. This one was customized by Fanatic Edge, which is one of the only ones that does not void the warranty. But as you can see, look at that. There is your skull clip, which a lot of people don't like, but that's one of the reasons I wanted this knife, and then everything else just kind of fell into place because I love the skull clip. Look at this action. Oh. 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 I love this knife so much. It's a beefy, overbuilt knife. Makes wonderful sounds. But one of my all-time favorites. Very thin behind the edge on this Tonto grind, or compound grind, because you have a flat grind here, hollow grind here, and it is just an amazing cutter, and just one of my all-time favorite knives. I love Mr. Chavez. Here is the Giant Mouse Ace Grand, another one of my favorite knives of all time. I absolutely love this knife. I tried to buy Jake over at Bearded Gears one whenever he had it because these knives were not available at the time. But yeah, this a wonderful middle finger flick with this clip point style blade, micarta handles, titanium, wire loop over deep carry pocket clip, and I think this is LMAX. Now I don't remember. LMAX steel and the crown spine. Oy, I love a crown spine. Giant Mouse does it right with this jimping way up here. Why is that important? Because that's where my thumb lands in a saber grip. Right there. This is a very comfortable knife, a very capable knife, and I love using it because of those features. I love, love, love this thing. The only thing I could probably give it a hard time about is the access to the lock bar. It's not the best, but it's definitely doable and not the worst. Love it, love it, love it. This is a newer one that I got in the Going Gear EDC subscription box. This is the, Legatus. This is the Legatus. They have a premium version. This is more of a budget option with G10. I'm not a huge fan of the red and black, but I got it in that box, and I think this knife is awesome ergonomically. This one's in 14C28N, so a budget steel, but very good. But ergonomically, this thing feels so good. It kind of has a finger troll. It's a finger troll, but it also goes into the... I'll have a full review on this, guys. But this thing is so very comfortable. You can choke up, choke back. So I've really been impressed with this. The action on it has gotten a lot better since I actually unboxed this. So I'm really excited to get a review on this guy as well. I just don't like the red and black. They have other colors, though. All right, getting into some of the newer knives, too. Oh, this is the Vio Engineering Synapse XL. One of my all-time favorite knives. Now, this thing is wearing the natural micarta M390 steel. Wonderful action, produced by Best Tech. But what I love about it is this minimalist flipper tab that absolutely works 100% of the time, no matter what kind of pressure you're putting on it. The closing action, you have the V spot there for the reverse flick, and then with this knife, you could even do the front flip. So it's a very fidgety knife. Very, very well-built knife with a big old slab of M390, this wonderful drop point blade, and it's my size. I love this thing. Vio is just one of my favorite designers right now. He's killing it, and he's just a genius on everything that he is doing. And this is my favorite Vio knife as of right now. One that I haven't done the full review on yet that I also love is the Vio Engineering Axon. This Axon is wearing the black micarta M390, as well. This is the only one as of right now that has the V-slot on both sides, so lefty rejoice, but he's actually making a dedicated lefty version, according to Kevin, lefty EDC, so that's pretty exciting. This one is a front flipper, but you can also use the V-slot. Very, very nice. Joseph is just killing it. This is an awesome size for most people. Wonderful action. And the micarta is just sexy as hell. I had the red G10 with the hand satin blade, which was beautiful. I'm just not a big fan of red G10. So I traded for this guy, which is the tumbled blade and the black micarta. Review to come. All right. My all-time grail, if you've seen my channel, my all-time grail was this knife. Sorry, my nose is itching. This is the Custom Knife Factory Evolution. Rotten design. This knife is screamed me, and I saw it a long time ago, couldn't afford it, but whenever I was able to do that, I searched and I searched and I searched trying to find one of these. They are definitely hard to get, and then whenever you see them, they go fast. So I was able to actually find somebody in Alabama where I live, so I was able to not even have to ship. I had to go, I drove there, was able to see it and purchase it, so it worked out great. Zirconium backspacer. This thing has some of the best drop shot action of any knife that I have, except for one other Custom Knife Factory knife. Hole for deployment. D10 is awesome. This thing is just sexy. Has this really nice texturing on the titanium handles. Kind of looks like a tree bark or whatever. My grail knife. Great pocket clip. I just love this knife. One of my favorite knives. As far as ergonomically, these grooves scare people, but for me and my hand size, this thing melts in the hand, and I love it. Definitely one of the more expensive knives that I have in the collection as of right now, guys, but it's a good one. Let's see. This is the Artisan Cutlery Centauri. This is the carbon fiber version, S35VN. This was one of my, I think this was my second front flipper that I ever purchased, and this is a wonderful first-time front flipper. It's a bigger knife for the guys who have the bigger hands. Titanium frame lock. And look at this drop shot action. This is definitely an action. I mean, this thing's $200. So Custom Knife Factory has some great action. Riyadh has some great action. Artisan Cutlery also does, especially on this one. It is a wonderful, wonderful knife. This really cool blade shape with a swedge on top. Really have enjoyed this thing. Beautiful carbon fiber. So, yeah, I'm trying to do, I forgot all about trying to do prices, but I can't remember all that, guys. This is also one of my favorite knives. I'm just a really big fan of Custom Knife Factory. This is the Gargantuan 523, also a front flipper, hand satin blade. Look at this beautiful, beautiful beast. Zirconium bolsters. It does have carbon fiber, bronze titanium pocket clip that I've got something on. The zirconium backspacer. Just an absolutely beautiful knife. I love this thing. And then, of course, you have your resistantless action. This thing is just amazing. It is the easiest front flipper to use, but it's big, guys. As you can see in my big old hands, it's my size. The chimping does kind of go up tall. I love it. 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 This one is number... I can't remember. This one is number 203. The Custom Knife Factory knives are numbered. I can't remember. Let's go ahead and show you what this one is. Number 29, the Custom Knife Factory there. Love Custom Knife Factory. You need to go check them out if you have not. Protec SG, Strider design. Love Strider designs. They are absolutely some of my most ergonomic knives of all time. The way that they hold this, or they have this blade shape, and I'm sorry, handle shape. This one, of course, is a Protec, so it is a out the side auto, snappy guy, so ergonomic. 154 cm steel. I love it. I can close it one-handed, which is a must for me. with an automatic knife, I have to be able to do that. It is easy to do. It's not as easy as some others, but really, really love this knife. I love Strider designs and Protec, USA made, Strider, USA company. You can't go wrong with an all USA made knife. Protec makes the best out-the-side autos in the business. Speaking of Strider, here is my Strider SMF. This is the larger. That was the SNG. Let me go ahead and show you the SNG and then the SMF. So the SMF is the larger brother of this family. And this knife is amazing. Now, they have quite a few different variations, and not everybody likes the Strider. I love the Strider because of the ergonomics. This one's definitely a bigger knife to that. So I have a very comfortable backed grip, and then this huge finger control for me to get back here and get whatever I want done. This thing ergonomically is up there with the Konig Arius. I just absolutely love it. Does have some flame titanium on the back for a little bit of coolness. Strider, there's your logo there. This one actually is an S35VN. This one was made at the old Strider factory. Now they've moved and they have a different logo and placement. I love this one. I really, really wanted it. Nice stone wash blade. Golly. So anyways, Strider, yep, definitely a fan. Hard use, working on phosphor bronze washers. But as you can see, I can get the middle finger flick, and it has, you know, good action for a hard use, heavy duty knife. The bug out killer for me. I don't have a bug out in the collection because I have the TRM Atom. This thing is very lightweight, very thin ground, very slicey blade. TRM, Three Rivers Manufacturing, is just killing it. They have some of the best knives in the business. They can't keep them in stock. The Atom is my absolute favorite. It's got very good thumb stud action. You know, it's running on bronze washers, so it's not like a fall shut, but it does. You get it down there and you can just do that number. Deep carry pocket clip. It does have button head screws. This one is wearing the red micarta. They make all kinds of scales for this. And then you have the Facebook group where Match Anderson makes custom scales for these, and you can basically get whatever you want. And the man's a genius. He can make anything look good on the TRM Atom, Neutron, all the other ones. So love the TRM Atom. This one is definitely my lightweight, full-size knife that if I'm wearing basketball shorts or something, it's light enough for me to put this in there. Love it, love it, love it. One of my other great backup knives, that this one actually had the spot until the F5.5 kind of knocked it out of the park. This one is the Ferrum Stinger. This one also won a category in my greatest knife, or my best knives of 2020. This one is Nitro V steel. Very nice, the finger control there. So it's a smaller knife, but because it has the finger control, it does fit my hand very well. It's a very comfortable knife. Nitro V, I love. Liner lock with really good action. Even the flipper works really, really well, even though what I do is I use that fuller for a reverse flick, and that makes this, it just kind of changed it for me. If it was just flipper only, I couldn't do that. Probably wouldn't still have it, but because I can, it is a very fun knife to do the reverse flick on because of that fuller. Of course, I'm failing it. But anyways, very fun knife, very recommendable knife for less than $90. This is a very good option for an EDC blade. All right, the knife. I want you guys to go and watch Bearded Gear's unboxing review of this knife. This is the Ace Sonoma. One of the funniest videos I've ever seen, because he was trying to deploy this knife and he just couldn't do it. The knife that he had is just the pressure on the lock bar, anything like a hair. Now this one is pretty bad. If you have any pressure on the lock bar, it locks up. I've just broken this in, I guess, and I know to keep my finger off of it, so the way I hold it, I can get it to deploy. His was way worse than this. This one is also a Riot made, the Giant Mouse, a Sonoma Riot made, so it's really, really cool. As you can see, this one has some titanium work on it done by my brother, Big Board Knife and Gear, Scott. He is just the man. This is the other one that he did for me. Look at the colors on the anodization. I just love it. Does have a finger control. It's a little small for my sausagey fingers, but this is a very good knife, guys. I also put an edge on this one when I had it. Has that really nice rounded crown spine with a jimping that's up here in a place that I like. So that's the reason I just really am a fan of Giant Mouse. Oh, where'd my other one go? This knife was also a gift from Bad Monkey EDC1. Look at this. Does this not scream me? Don't tread on me. This is a Rough Rider. Can't remember the model, but this is absolutely the knife that I used to, with this nail clip, you know, if somebody wanted a knife, and I've got nicer knives on me, that I would give them this because it has a shitty little blade just to open whatever they want. This one is now riding with me at all times. I need to get a leather slip for it. But this one is the knife that I hand to people now because it is a traditional knife. Everybody knows nail nick, you get it out, you do some cutting, but it does have two different blades. So I love this knife. This is now the knife that I carry. I bring it out of my pocket. I tell people about the channel because they look at this and they're like, oh, that's cool. It's like, yeah, I have a channel called DTOM Knives and Gear. So it really has become a part of my EDC. And Bad Monkey, I can't thank you enough for gifting me this. This is just amazing, and you are the man. So that's why how I use this knife. Let's see. Let's do some other cold steels. This is the Cold Steel 4MAX. Boom. How big is this? It's a big old bruiser. This thing is another Andrew Demko design in 20 CV steel, and just amazing, kind of like the 8010. Some amazing contouring on the G10 that makes this thing just an absolute wonderful, comfortable knife for hard use. I can choke up in this position. This knife is amazing. I've got to put a better edge on it. I did buy this used, but I was chopping with this thing. I was doing it. Triad lock. This is a beast. If you're looking for a knife that you can just beat on and not have to worry about breaking, I highly suggest the Cold Steel 8010 or the 4MAX. This one's a little bit more expensive because it has 20 CV. I kind of wish this thing had something like 3V because that would be badass. But yeah, love this knife. Andrew Demko is just an amazing, amazing designer. One of my smaller knives that I still keep around because I love it. The Protec Magic Whiskers. This knife is so much fun because when you hand it to somebody, they have no idea how to open it. How did I do that? This thing has a hidden bolster lock. So it is 154 cm, as you can see here. See if I can do it behind the camera without dropping it. This bolster, you just move this way. I'm going to and then it flies out of there. I love this knife. I had bought this knife a while back, and it's not very big. I don't really get all my fingers around it, but it's a very nice cutter. 154 cm with a stonewash. Very EDC style for a lot of people, but want an automatic knife because the design of it is very simple. It's just got this wonderful opening mechanism that's just so much fun, and the most intuitive closing one-handed automatic knife ever. I mean, because all I have to do is just move that out of the way. I can open and close this thing one-handed really, really easy. The easiest that I've ever done any automatic knife. That's why this one sticks around. I love it. Protec does an excellent job. USA made, baby. All right. Speaking of Andrew Demko, the Andrew Demko 8020. This one is an actual Andrew Demko. This one is the machine ground version in 3V steel. One of my favorite steels of all time. This one is featuring the Shark Lock. The Shark Lock makes this a fidget toy overload. With you, all you have to do is press back on this and it drops. Then, of course, you can do the same thing to open it. It also has thumb studs, a opening hole. I actually like doing the reverse flick with the thumb studs more than I even do the hole. Very ergonomic, tough knife. Love this. Is like my favorite jimping because it's so tall, but it bites in. Very, very hard use knife. I love this thing. It's a little bit more expensive than some of my other hard use cold steel knives that I really use for the hard use work. So I don't use it as much as I probably should, but it is freaking amazing. This knife won it for me in 2020 for the best knife of 2020, and there's a reason. It is such an amazing design. Andrew Demko is just the man. I mean, this locking system is so genius. A lot of people see this and they think for the saber grip, you see, it's not really touching me. I thought it would. I thought it would actually poke me. This thing is so comfortable and so intuitive. You don't have to get your hands in the way, in the path of the blade to let it go. Very genius design. Thank you, Andrew Demko, for that, because that is a keeper. All right, getting down to the last couple here. This is the Midgard's Messer Viking. Big old boy. One of my bigger knives, CPM D2, German company, titanium frame lock, and just some of the, once you get past the detent, whoop, a guillotine, however you say it, fuller for deployment. I love this knife. It is absolutely amazing. Limited run. This is 13 of 200. I'm really been stoked about the designs coming out of Midgard's Messer. And speaking of that, one knife that hasn't had a review that will come soon. This is the Bomber. Also a very large knife, not quite as large as the Viking, but this is the Bomber in CPM D2. Look at that blade shape. Look at that handle. Very comfortable. Oh, I love this knife so more. Definitely stay tuned for the review. Kind of a wicked looking pocket clip that does work well, but doesn't seat deep carry. We'll go over that. Titanium frame lock with an excellent action. And so I like to do the fuller middle finger flick. The whole, I actually like to do the thumb flick. And then, of course, you can do the front flip. So what's not to like? Very thick, very beautiful blade that I am falling in love with. So definitely stay tuned for the full review of this guy. Guys, that is about it, except for this CRKT Provoke that I bought a long time ago. I never carry this thing. It actually now falls and always rides in my my vest. I have a bulletproof vest. I am a prepper, yes. So whenever shit hits the fan, I have something. You can make fun of me all you want. This actually rides in that now. It's the very not practical karambit style, so it's all it is used for is a defensive blade, but it is a very cool, unique design. Oh, shoot, by Caswell, John Caswell, that's right. That was produced by CRKT. I just love this. Just pop it out there. Such a cool design. Look at this. They call it the kinematic system. So it's just really cool. I like different things. This was different. And so, yeah, I just absolutely love it. So this was the last one. I'm pretty sure. A lot of knives, I understand. I know. If you're still here, thanks for bearing with me. I love knives. You guys know that. My knife collection is always evolving and always changing. So I've got a lot of stuff coming. I've got some pre-orders going on. So we do have a lot of new knives coming to the channel. Guys, I love you all. Stay safe in this crazy world that we are living in. And we will see you in the next one.